Welcome to the world of spirit. I'm Steve Hermann, International Spirit Medium. Join me today into an exciting adventure into the fascinating world of psychic phenomena and spiritual mediumship. Your loved ones and friends, even people who you don't like that much, are able to come through. This television show chronicles my experiences as a psychic medium. So join me today as we enter into the world of spirit. Now, with mediumship, it is a mental connection, telepathic connection. And when it comes through from spirit, I really don't have any control over who's going to present themselves, but we can just imagine your guides and teachers, people connected to you in the spirit world, they've already determined and set up who's going to come through. So you might want to hear from your mom, and she might come through. At the same time, hear from your aunt and you hate it, or you can hear from some person, they were an acquaintance, and you went to junior high with them, or you lived next door to them 20 years ago. And you might ask, well, why is that person coming through? Maybe they passed over before you were even born. So one of the things is the people who are around us in the spirit world, they're not necessarily the people who we expect. The other thing is just because someone has passed over into the spirit world does not mean that they understand or have any type of comprehension of the mechanics of the process. So you can just imagine someone's over there, what are they going to want to do? They're going to have to rehearse it, aren't they? And anyone coming through, they're actually working through third parties. Because I have people who are helpers in the spirit world. I call them spirit helpers because guides. They're not there to really give guidance, but they're specialists with this type of communication. So if your Aunt Tootsie, or whatever her name was, wants to come through, she has to learn how to do it. And even though I might be describing things about her very specifically, it's actually coming another party who's relaying it. Does that make sense to people? I like to explain this because the more you understand how it works, you're going to have a better experience. Okay, well, we're going to start out, and actually, can everyone feel the energy tonight?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Enthusiasm. You don't have to be psychic to hear it. You don't have to be psychotic either. Although we know a lot of you are, or you wouldn't be here. So when I do come to you, please give me the sound of your voice. And where do I want to start it? I'm actually going to start at my case because they keep on pulling me over. The first thing I am feeling here is I'm being shown fireworks. And I feel I want to sing, it's a national anthem, but it isn't the U.S. national anthem. And I want to talk about this, like we burned everything. It would be like I feel like it reminds me of like the French Revolution or something. That's what I'm feeling now. I also want to give you anniversaries around July 14th, which is, what's the name of that? Baroque Day. What's the name? July 14th.
Bastille Day.
Bastille Day. Because I'm being shown this. And I feel I'm with a gentleman and a lady that come through here from the world of the spirits. I wouldn't want to get in a political argument with this man.
Right.
This gentleman, he doesn't hide who he is. I'm feeling a lot of problems right here through my throat. Almost a lack of, the breathing. And he comes in, and this man's opinionated. Because he doesn't like you, and he doesn't like you. And he'll tell you, and he doesn't want to sit next to you. And he's someone, he wears his prejudices on his shoulder. I'm not talking about racist prejudices, but I'm talking, it's almost like political. It's us and them. Because these people, they were out to get whoever his people were. And this man, he comes through, he's quite fatherly, but he's got connections. Now these connections, it's almost like a mobster type of connection. I don't feel it's necessarily Italian. But these people ran, and I want to talk about running illegal type, it's contraband type stuff. I want to talk about illegal alcohol things of the sort. And I'm going into the 1950s, and they lived off of that. These people within the family had a high type of lifestyle. And I'm dealing, because I'm with a little lady here, she's petite, and she was into the fine art, but you don't want to tell her where it came from, because it was stuff that was stolen. And she collected the stuff, and she did not know. It's like these things were given, the gentleman, because he's giving her these paintings. And the paintings have been ripped. They're these masterpieces. I also want to talk about Europe. I want to talk about when the Germans took a lot of the stuff. Do you understand? When there was the whole conflict, a lot of that stuff, it got out of these museums and it got into the wrong hands. You understand what I'm talking about with all of this? You can relate to this.
Yes.
Now, I do see this in July. Now, whether it's July 14th or dates in and around the midpoint of the month, I feel I'm talking about this. I also have a lady that comes in here from the world of the spirit. This is not someone who's related to you, although she looks a lot like you. So she is related to you. I'm sorry, related to you. And I felt it in my throat again, that she's letting them speak through her. And I see her in a public presentation, because she's standing there and she's doing communications, all right? So this is someone who did the same kind of work that I did, who's related to you. And I'm going back 40s. I'm going to go back into the 40s, that period, and I want to talk about the older type of spiritualist approach where we have the seances, the physical phenomena, and she worked with all of that stuff. Now, she's giving you two different types of books. First of all, she has books here that, and I feel almost like I could pick the book up and the binding just falls apart. But the knowledge is what's important. Now, these are older spiritualist types of books dealing with the phenomenon, dealing with the right types of conditions, with the mechanics of the process. You understand this? The other thing she brings in here, she's showing me journals, but they're actually documentations of seances, documentations of the work that she would have done.
Wow.
She detailed everything. Now, I want to say that stuff is still sitting around within the family. It's buried. But I want to dig that stuff up. Being shown a lot of... I feel like it's not just because of that stuff, because there's other stuff there that needs to be dug up as well, and I'm being shown older photographs. There's a man here, he's a little guy, and he's taking family. It's like if I'm going to have a family reunion, if I'm going to have a wedding, this guy did all the pictures. Now, he's incompetent, but I want to just say when it came to taking the pictures, he wanted to include everyone in, but they cut him out. He's talking about this, and I want to just say, I'm going to the 60s with this, but it's like I want to get into a fist fight with this guy, because he shows up, and they don't want him, he'll show up anyway. And they had to physically remove him, is what I'm feeling here. And I'm hearing this really bad lounge type of music from the 1960s period. And this man thinks he's cool. Now, I mean this with a lot of respect to you, but he's looking at your chest. And he's up to here. Do you understand? He's a man, but he likes to meet these women that are endowed that way. Yes. And I just feel it doesn't matter if your marital status, whether you're married or what. Right. I feel I want to keep this going. And he's talking, it's like all the pseudo-art. The little lady, she knew about the art. This man was full of bull. Now, they're giving 1963 with Kennedy, and they're also giving me near 1964. And there was a young man who went to the world of the spirit very young. And I feel like he's blown to bits, and there's pieces here and pieces there, because I want to talk about somebody who went over, the U.S. got involved in 1965, but I feel like I'm before the big wave went over there. And he comes in here because whatever came back, there wasn't really a lot there. There's also a dark-skinned gentleman that comes in here from spirit as well, connected in with him. And I want to just say here that if I was having trouble with children, this guy's going to step in. Not just handiwork types, but this guy's going to protect the kids, but he was also a soldier. And we've seen George Patton. I want to talk about World War II with him. I want to go into the whole campaign there. And I want to just say he didn't shine anyone's boots. Right. And I feel like I want to sing blues. I want to get into what we would call type of music with this man. There's also the name Andrew is being spoken here. I'm not talking about the Andrew sisters here, but I've got that name. I feel I'm actually with two different people. I feel I'm with a lady, but I'm also with a man with the same name that comes in here. And I feel we talk about Handy Andy, the whole carpentry type of stuff here. I want to talk about someone, because I feel like I built a little, it's like a little cottage or a little house. It'd be like one of these things where I could put my mother-in-law, lock her in there, and hope she never comes out.
Okay.
And there's a small lady that comes in here. Now, we were talking about profanity earlier on. She's sitting and she's chewing you out. I would deliberately not pick her up. People say, we pick her up at 3. Well, they'll deliberately make some excuse. Oh, we forgot. Because they didn't want to deal with the verbal abuse. And she apologizes as she comes in. This lady, I could push the button, she'll explode. And I feel with this lady, she did not want to, I could be in some restaurant, and it could have a black waiter. And she will not take the service. And they're also talking about Eleanor Roosevelt. Now, we're not bringing her through, thank God. But I want to talk about her philosophy. And as a man that comes in here, this vision was like that. Do you understand? We use what we have to help the greater society here. That's really where you're coming from. And I feel I've got like all these different, there's a lot of people here. There's like, and then I've seen all these explosions like fireworks here. And I'm just going to tell you this. There's a boy on the physical plane around you. I may be 10, 12 years old, and he's going to blow something up if you don't watch out.
Oh, God.
The other thing is, he's going to burn it down. You understand? You need to not just take away matches from him. I just feel almost like, it'd be like the fire marshal coming here and say, your son or this young man has, burn something down or whatever it is. So you need to be aware of this guy, because it's like being a pyromaniac.
Got it.
You understand what I'm talking
yes.
about, though, because I don't know anything about you, so I'll that and say, God bless you. All right, I got to go to this guy right here. Okay, may I come to you, please?
Yes, you may.
Okay. I also saw a giant lightning bolt, bigger than hers. She had a few little ones. Big lightning to you. And there's a man that comes through here like a father. He was a preacher when he was here. He was a minister. And this man, it's either his way. I mean, I don't know what the denomination of Christianity was, but it's almost like they've got it right, everyone else is wrong. And there are all these other weird groups, and they're all against each other. But his interpretation, that was the way it was. And this particular gentleman, I just want to say here that very narrow-minded. I mean, like I said, you could be like some Christian from whatever, and you'd have problems with it. Like, that's coming on a family vibration. It's not a real optimistic or inspiring type of take on God or religion. It's very much emphasizing our lower, we're all low, we're all fallen, we're all, not worthy of anything. That's the sense I'm getting here. And he does come in here from he sees things differently is what I'm feeling here. All right, now your own take on things. He's also someone, even though he's a relative, I do feel he works, in a guidance type of capacity here. And I feel like I'm looking at, scripture, inspirational type of work here. He's written things. So I'm not saying you're necessarily going to be formally ordained or become clergy, but I do want to say here, I do see you speaking. I feel you teaching, and it is like having a ministry. He's going to be working with you. This guy, if he, when he was here physically, he would never have imagined that he would have wound up here, is what I'm feeling here. But I want to say he had to, because what he taught was wrong, and he has to get it right. It's almost like to undo what he did when he was here, so to speak. And he comes in with a lady, and she's coming in, she's working. I mean, she's jabbing me. I think this is some type of, I don't know if this is a hairpin or what it is, or knitting needle or something like this, but she's jabbing. I just want to say here that she's worse than him, and she's the kind of person, I'm going to, family, any kind of family type of function. This lady's going to bring up religion. She's going to start preaching to people, telling them why they're wrong. And I just want to say within your own family vibration, I'm just going to describe it like this. It's like a multi-religious family. You've got people Catholic, they're not all Jews, they're not all Methodist. They seem to be a lot of different things, and everyone gets along together. And then this lady and this man showed up. Now he knew enough to keep his mouth shut. In church, different story. I don't see him being that way. He would think that they were all bent and going to hell or something, but he wouldn't say it. This lady, I see her getting into arguments with people. It's almost like, oh, you can't teach your children that because they're, this type of thing here. And she's leaving. It reminds me of these people that come on Saturday mornings sometimes to your door. I mean, whatever their take on Christianity, either you follow it or you're going to literally go to hell. And you understand what I'm talking about with this?
Exactly. Yes, I do.
She does come in here, and I just want to say here that if I were married to this lady, I'd want a divorce. I mean, I'd want to run off with anyone. I mean, she's kind of, I see her, she's kind of stern. Here's what I'm sensing. She comes in here, and she's on and on and on and on. She drove him crazy. And I just want to say here, he wanted to get out of this, but it made him sick. I think I feel physically ill. And I just feel these two people, they did not, there's a lot of tension here, and she always got the upper hand. She is what I'm sensing here. And he does come in. There's also the name of William, Billy, that name is also coming through with you as well. That's connected in with all of that. I also have another man, he's slighter on this build than you, that comes in here, who also, I don't necessarily know if he was formally ordained, but he was like a minister. And very spoken, but with what he said, it was more of what he would have done. And he does bring in different books here. They're inspirational types of books, but it's not just Christianity. I mean, he's going to read a Buddhist book. He's going to study a lot of different things. I feel like an older gentleman, like an uncle is what I'm feeling. A lot of influence here. This guy's liberal about things. This guy's very, very broad in terms of his outlook, is what I'm sensing here. And I'm going to leave you with all that and say, God bless you. As you can tell, we have the phenomenal spirit voices. But you understand what I'm talking about with you. That'll make sense with you. And I do feel you having, I'm just going to tell you this, I see you having your own church. Now, it may not be what we call, officially a church, but it's like that. Do you understand? Basically the same type. It's almost like I have some kind of lending type of library, all the different world's religion. Someone can go there, they can study all these, in a universal type of sense, a lot of different faiths, a lot of different philosophies spiritually. And I feel I want to put that into motion, because I do want to say here, it's the gentleman, the first scribing, the sectarianism, or the putting everything in a box. He sees, he regrets that, and he sees that as being a major obstacle Because what he did, it really just split people apart, is what I'm sensing with all of that. So I'm going to leave you with all of that and say, God, okay, now where do I want to go? Ben, I haven't been to you guys, have I? May I come to you, please?
Yes, please.
Okay. I have an older couple that comes in here. Now, I want to just say here, I see them having a lot of, where they want to take each other's heads off. I see them staying together, and I want to just say, despite whatever, it actually brought them closer and they'd stick up for each other. This feels like grandparents as I'm sensing them coming in here from the world of spirit. It's not like it was an easy type of situation. These two people, very different in their temperament, very different in their personality, and yet they were together. Like you'd think, like, my God, how could these two people be married? They seem so opposite. And I want to just say they were opposite. You know, one might like this type of food, the other likes the other type of food, one likes doing this, common. And I do see them getting into these big fights, and yet they made it work, is the words I'm hearing. Now, why they're saying that is because I want to talk about, and this is in your own relationship, but I want to talk about relationships and marriage type situations on a physical plane level. I want to just say that it's sort of like in that particular generation, these people went out of their way to make it work. Despite, if we really looked at it, it was just a really, this ill match is what I'm feeling here. Why they're talking is a situation on the physical plane level where I do feel, this is with younger than yourself, where there's problems here. I want to just say here that instead of giving things up, or calling it quits, they need to really reevaluate things. They need to really be very, make suggestions to whoever's involved here that, hey, you need to get counseling, you need to look into this more, because I feel I'm also dealing with kids. And I feel here that, again, it's what people into it, even if there's differences, it's what people put into it, which is going to make it worse. And I just want to talk about, like, with you, like marriage counseling or mediation tips, because I feel you actually have those. But the lady, because they're coming in as a couple, but the lady's the one doing the talking right here. And I just want to say that I wouldn't this lady. I mean, she would be making my life hell, is what I'm feeling here. And yet this guy loved her, and he compromised her, he put up with her. And I just want to say here that she was not an easy person. I'm not saying he didn't have problems, but I feel with this guy, he's not really a bad guy, is what I'm sensing here. Come through here from the world of the spirit, and I do feel they're concerned about the situation I'm describing on a physical plane level, and I do feel that through you, they're going to try to help with things. Now, obviously, people have free will with this, but they're also just saying here, even though you can have a marriage where it seems like it's literally hopeless, in this particular case, it's not as bad as the one they're talking about that theirs was. And they made it work, and it did work, even though it wasn't really very feasible. In this particular situation here, again, I just feel like almost like that I'm wrong, or I need to, admit my faults and be willing to work on those things. And I do feel here that it's not just you that needs to be involved in this. There need to be other people within the family that actually get involved with this and put in their own 2 cents. Because I feel there's enough constructive input from people who are concerned within the family, that can actually help with things, so to speak. I feel even if it's like on a trial type of basis. But again, if this is just, what's the word, they just call it quits, that would not be good in this particular situation here. And I do feel people, what's the word, they can react to a situation like that, and just out of reacting by some type of counseling, I want to try to repair. There's a lot of emotional type of pain already that's connected with this here. Now, I felt with you, they're just showing this, I feel like I'm picking up pain, it's going to my solar plexus, and I just want to say you can't force someone to make decisions. But again, you need to be there for them, and you need to be honest with them, tell them directly exactly what you think with that, so to speak. The gentleman's coming in here from me, he's got a gun, and he's picking cans here, he's very good, is what I'm feeling. He's quite fatherly as he comes across here from the spirit, and I just want to say here, if I was his daughter, he's going to pick up, he's going to shoot me. I mean, he's going to make sure that whoever, I'm not sure if this is the same gentleman I was describing for the but there's a man like that comes in here and he's got a chip on his shoulder. And I just feel if you were going to go with some gentleman, he's going to make sure that this gentleman has good intention. But it's kind of like, not a shotgun marriage exactly, but he's not, he's going to ensure that people it's the right combination before they actually go into something. And I just want to say with the situation on the physical plane, I feel these people went into it not really knowing what they were getting into in terms of knowing each other, so to speak. But again, they are together, and this stuff can actually be addressed.
And it's a current.
That feels in current situation here. Okay, you understand what I'm talking about with that? That makes sense to you? Okay, you can relate. Just say yes.
Yeah, there's only one person I could think it could be.
And you understand what I'm talking about in spirit, the people who are here. You can identify these people. Okay, good. There's also an Al or Alfred, I want to give you that name as well, that comes in here.
what?
Alfred, Al.
Oh.
That name is being spelled out here as well from spirit.
Oh.
Okay, that's different than what I was describing before. There's a lot of people here. I'm going to leave you with all that. I'm going to say, God bless you.
But what I'm studying for, in my classes and spirituality is what Steve brought through is very accurate as to what I am endeavoring upon.